make this rather snappy, won't you? I have some very heavy thinking to do before 10 o'clock.
Good morning, everybody. Let's get it right, Texoma. We're here, and I'm Terry.
And I'm Trey.
And we're here to always enjoy or at least provide you some joy. I don't know, maybe. I don't know. But we also – go ahead.
Go ahead. Yeah.
We got our friend Mike is also with us always, and our podcast partner for kind of gave us our start in our career.
He was the catalyst.
There you go. So anyway.
We go live every Friday morning at 7:30 on Facebook and YouTube. And this morning's guest is Billy Pate. Usually we have a guest, not always.
Yep.
This morning's guest is Billy Pate of Rising Sun Boys Ranch here locally.
Oh, okay. Well, cool. Well, please comment and share and let us know, what your thoughts are, any ideas, how we're doing, all that kind of stuff. You can comment live on both YouTube and Facebook. Mm-hmm. And we're here to hear it. And but otherwise,
and in fact, somebody you took action on some feedback you got already.
Yes, actually, yes. Ted Deidre, I think that Deidre. Anyway, he provided some suggestions and noticed that my mic was kind of out of whack a little bit every once in a while, and so I just tuned that up, and hopefully that fixed the problem.
So there's a practical thing there where somebody made a suggestion, and we always look at it.
All right, well, let's get into it. This is Get It Right Texoma. So what do we got that we always
start with our local restaurant focus.
Right.
And this week is a very interesting place and a very unusual place. When I say unusual, it's just unique, I should say.
Yes.
It's actually Farm to Fork.
Farm to Fork.
In Wichita Falls.
That's it.
Called Foxhill Restaurant and Gardens.
Yes.
And so the restaurant is right off of Kemp Street at the very bottom where it hits the Seymour Highway.
Down the hill.
It's an old mansion. It's a house but it's a hell of a house.
Oh yeah.
It's in a little tiny place,
and it creaks as you walk in it and everything. Because I do their IT, so that I set them up with all their stuff. So anyway.
Yeah. So you're responsible for the 2 tin cans in the string.
There you go.
In there?
That's it.
Yeah. So, but they've been around for probably about a decade now.
Has it been that long?
They started because they were working on stuff for like 2 or 3 years.
It took them a long time just to get it open.
Well, because they had to build the garden out, they had to build the infrastructure out.
Yeah.
But this is truly, they obviously they have to bring some food in. They don't grow everything right there.
But they still try to source it locally.
But they do try to source it locally. But they bring a lot of food in, or they grow a lot of their food right there.
Right.
So
and John Hershey, now he's since passed away. But,
right.
He
was the
one that started it.
He was the one who started it, Mr. Hershey, and his family was a philanthropic family in Wichita Falls for many years. The Hershey High School, or now Hershey Middle School, was named after his mother.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's where I was wondering what the connection was there.
Yeah.
But, he had a vision of doing this and made it happen. And it's a really nice restaurant. I took Lucy there here. What was it? I'm trying to remember what it was for. Gosh. Oh, our anniversary this year. That's what it was. Okay. So this last year in November, I took her there and I had not eaten there yet, but I had.
You've never eaten there
until then.
Really?
Right. But now that being said, I've had food there because when I was there. So during the initial building of it took them a long time, and then when they had the freeze and their fire suppression system busted the pipes, and so then so it had to be rebuilt. And so during that time also, we got a little sample of some stuff. So, when you're hanging out behind the scenes, sometimes you get
whatever they're cooking, you get a piece of.
So, but
you'd never actually gone and sat down and ordered off the menu type thing.
And Sean, who's he's the manager. So there's the chef, and then you got Sean. I guess they're both chef, but he's the general manager.
Right.
And he runs things. So I work with him all the time. And so just to make sure everything's going. But it is, oh my God, it is not, it is absolutely just incredible.
It's high-end restaurant food.
Oh yeah,
this isn't McDonald's. This isn't.
Oh no.
No, this is very high-end restaurant food, and I've had several things there, and everything I've ever had was really good.
Yeah.
I haven't gone there a ton. I've gone there some, It is a little pricey.
Yeah.
I'm not
right,
knocking it. It is what it is. Yeah.
But
I mean, but understand if you want to get that level of food that is garden fresh,
service is excellent.
Then you're going to pay a little bit for it, but it's okay. It's one of those things. It's probably not a place that the average person is going to go eat 4 times a week.
No.
But if you go there on special occasions or a couple of times a week or something like that,
whatever. I mean, but it is good. It is. I think as an experience, as a especially on special occains like I did, it's outstanding. I mean,
the food's great and the service is good, like I said, and it's fresh as it can be.
Yeah.
It's locally sourced if possible, and a lot of it's sourced right there on their property, which is great. So when you get that, you don't have a lot of preservatives and that sort of stuff. The food is not only fresh, it's going to be as healthy as healthy as you can have.
Yep.
But it's a great high-end dining experience right here in Wichita Falls.
That's it.
So go check them out. And their hours,
I'm not sure.
They're open kind of normal business hours
for
for
the most
dinner.
part. Let's see here what I can find here.
I wonder what they got that burger. It says burger night.
Oh yeah, they do have
I didn't realize they had burger night. We'll have to try that. I love burger. I'm a burger nut.
Let's go to their Facebook page.
Go to their Facebook page
and
check it out
and call them and all that. And you can make reservations. In fact, I think you should.
Yeah, I think they recommend reservations.
Yes.
Probably. So what's that burger night? Join us. Go back. Arrow.
Arrow. Yeah, right there.
Go over a couple times.
Burger night. There it is. January 27th. Call and visit. Oh, okay. So they have a burger night.
RSVP burger night.
Yeah. So all right. Well, yeah, I remember seeing that. So, but we'll just check it out and tell them we sent you.
That's right. There you go. Terry and Trey.
All right.
Anyhow, University Kiwanis Club, their Pancake Festival. This is I forgot what year this is. It's a 70th. This is the 70th year, I believe, of the Pancake Festival.
Okay.
This is their biggest fundraiser for the year, and they serve, I believe, from 6 to 6 a.m. to 6 p.m.
6, yep.
At the Bridwell Center. And it's not only, it goes for a great cause. The Kiwanis Club does a whole lot for the community. All the money that they raise.
What's a Kiwanis?
Yeah. Everybody there's volunteers, so all the money they raise goes directly back to the community.
Okay.
And but they have all kinds of they have sausage and milk and orange juice and probably coffee. I'm guessing I don't drink coffee, so I wouldn't know. And pancakes. And you go in, you pay one price, and it's basically all you can eat.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not only good pancakes, it's an event.
Yeah, it's a community event.
Right. And you sit down, all the tables are just lined up there. They're long tables. It's not individual little tables. You go through the line, and you go plop down somewhere, and you may sit next to somebody you've known for 40 years, or you may sit down next to somebody who you've never met before.
That's right. So,
and that's the beauty of it.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, just get on down there. January 31st. It's Saturday, so that's next. Saturday.
It's the last Saturday of the month.
Not tomorrow, but
right. It's always the last Saturday of the month, and go check them out.
All right. So, what else is happening there going on?
Well, the next thing I had was Trump acquiring Greenland.
Mm-hmm.
This has become a controversial thing, and it kind of depends on which reporting source you watch. Yeah. If you watch, say, Fox News, Trump is trying to acquire Greenland peacefully, and if you watch CNN, Trump has got a gun held to the Danish prime minister's head.
Doesn't rule out military force.
Yeah,
is what
which by the way, he did. I actually
he did just the other day.
I saw him. I saw him say that. He said, "Yeah, I'm not going to take it by force." But I started looking into this. This is not just Trump came up with this, pulled this out of his ass. Now, I'm not going to defend the way he's going about doing it. I'm not going to defend a lot of things the way that Trump goes about doing a lot of things. Yeah. But the one thing I will defend is his success rate. He's been pretty successful at most things that he does. Now, I don't like his tactics and things like that, but in the end, you kind of have to make a decision. He is who he is. So you make a decision. Do you value results, or you value the way that they get there, or somewhere in between?
Yeah.
And you can like the results and not like the way he did it, or would rather him do something differently, which is the way where I fall.
Right. Yeah, and I guess that what is it? There's a legal concept that the fruit of the poison fruit principle or something like that. That basically, if something was acquired illegally, then anything after that is to be thrown out and not to be used.
Yeah, but I don't think there's any.
No, I'm saying that's what some people will do in this case, is that no matter how good it is in the end, because he did it, they're not going to.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter as long as it was legal. Here's the thing. I looked into it because I was just curious more than anything. Because in our lifetime, we haven't heard a lot about this. But apparently there have been a lot of talks in government, high-level talks in government, about how important Greenland is.
Oh, yeah.
And so there's been a couple of times when the United States has actually tried to acquire Greenland.
Right. Now, we're not saying that, by the way, that Wikipedia is always right at all.
No.
But it gives you a guidance or whatever, because Wikipedia, and that'd be a whole show to talk about Wikipedia and its issues. But
some of them are good. There is good information on Wikipedia, because a lot of it was started. See, I think Wikipedia, it was started with good intentions.
Oh, absolutely.
And a lot of it was real historical data and this and that and the other, but
they've hacked it.
That's true.
But anyway, so it's right. But this article about it talks about that multiple times.
Right, and I think that Harry Truman was the last person that tried to actually buy it.
Right.
But there have been high-level talks. And here's the thing. Greenland is not only good from a resources standpoint, it's very strategic.
Oh, yeah.
And
that's why we have a base, or Thule, Greenland.
We do. We have a base there. I believe that the reason that Trump is going hard in the paint on this deal is because of China. I honestly believe that this is – I don't think Russia is as big a threat right now. Russia's kind of tied up. Yeah. They got their hands kind of full in Ukraine. But the Chinese government has really gotten aggressive about going after natural resources, strategic points in the world, and things like that. And they were actually making a play at doing something in Greenland.
Yeah.
And I believe that this is what Trump's going, hey, we need to lock Greenland down.
Well, yeah.
To where, I mean, we're already protecting them. See, that's the whole thing about this. Now, I'm not saying just because we protect a country that we ought to be able to run that country or have that country. So I'm not suggesting that. But what I am suggesting is, if you are going to bed at night under the protection of the United States, don't be an asshole. Oh, you don't have to sell. You could say, I don't want to sell. We don't want. I'm not saying you're required to, but don't be an asshole about it.
Right. Because
the American public is basically paying. Our tax dollars are going towards your protection.
Well, right, and that's been the Trump in this first administration was able to kind of right size some of the costs that the United States was bearing on NATO, and got the countries to actually pay up a little better, more of their fair share, and that was the thing. But NATO, there are some questions, I think legitimate questions about their effectiveness overall, and what they're into and all of that, But otherwise, as an idea of NATO and the countries and the strategic partnership and all that is absolutely vital. Now, we do have the connection. Now, there's been a lot of, talk about how NATO, because we have the NJEP, Euro-NATO joint jet something, pilot training. Yeah. So anyway, that's an important part of it. But I don't know the numbers here, but there's a number of foreign pilots that come in for training, and we have foreign pilots that are obviously here for training to train those guys
and their families and all.
And it's a partnership, but it's also because the size of those countries' air forces is nothing is they're fairly small,
right? And
so it's really helping them out in that it's a lot more efficient to bring.
Well, of course, they can't afford to have their own training program. So
we're still going to have a pilot training program somewhere. Now, maybe it would get down to small enough where we there might be a loss of the a mission somewhere at one of the bases. So, because there's several. There's Vance, there's Del Rio. I forget what what that base is. And then, of course, Shepherd, and there's probably a couple others. But those are training bases for our pilots, and we have to have training. So
we're live right now, so yeah, no problem.
Our guest is here, but he's early, which is awesome. But in any case, we have those bases there, and they're going to stay. We're going to have a training mission. So yes, I could see the idea that NATO, if we ruin that relationship, that's not going to be good necessarily. But anyway, I think he's just wanting to make it more effective.
I think so. I don't think we're going to ruin a relationship.
No,
well, look,
I hope not. Yeah, but.
Well, look, there's a lot to. It's easy to get pissed off. Okay, say for instance you're in a relationship. You say you're married, and you're married. Okay, and I know you and Lucy never have disagreements. I get that.
Never.
But what I'm saying is, you guys have built something together. You didn't get married last week. You got married a while back.
Right.
So you've built. So not only do you have emotional investment, you obviously have financial investment.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So just because you guys hit an impasse doesn't mean you're going to load up and haul ass.
No.
Because there's so many other things to do.
There's history. There's
history there, and just leaving is a lot harder to do.
Yeah.
So I think this is the same type thing.
Yeah. I don't disagree. I just, I think that it's again to our point of we don't always agree. Certainly don't agree with Trump's methods sometimes, and so it is his style to kind of shake things up.
That's the way he does business. And like I said, whether you like it or don't like it, it's the way he does business. But I will say he has been somewhat effective. So we want to give him credit there. Yeah. Real quickly, the weather that's coming in, Meals on Wheels has asked for volunteers for today, but I don't necessarily know that they're going to need extra volunteers today because everybody's batting down the hatches, but it doesn't look like it's even going to rain until later today.
Okay.
Now, it may be a little slick tomorrow, next couple of days, so be a little careful because if it does rain and then the cold weather comes in.
Well, they might be also plussing up because I remember, they'll maybe delivering a couple extra meals or something.
They very well could be.
Yeah, and for the long haul for the weekend, because they know that a lot of people won't be able to get out.
So if you're able to drive and you want to help Meals on Wheels, go do that. Meals on Wheels is a phenomenal group. If I had time, if I could dedicate and say, okay, I can definitely be there this time, I would do it.
Yeah.
The problem is I don't during the day because I just don't know. Kind of like you when you're in retail and your business is open, you don't know whether whether you're going to have a full staff or whether you're going to be by yourself.
Yeah.
So anyhow, Clay County election update. We started talking about this last week, and Val McLean, who was a Clay County election administrator, had been put on administrative leave, and then last Thursday night or last Thursday there was a meeting, but we didn't have time to investigate it or anything like that. She was released, so Clay County does not have an election administrator right now.
Okay,
so they're looking. I believe they're looking to hire somebody. Plus, the Secretary of State will come in and train people. There will be elections in Clay County. Mm-hmm. Because you think about it, elections are about 6 weeks away,
right? For
the primary, so there will be an election in Clay County. If you're a Clay County resident, don't fret. There are resources out there, and I don't know the whole story, and I don't really give a crap what the whole story was. There's a lot of he said, she said, back and forth stuff, but in the end, there was enough evidence that pointed to something that required dismissal, and Val McLean has been dismissed from her position as Clay County election administrator.
Okay. All right. So then we've got Wichita Falls ISD is moving forward with closing Jefferson. Yeah, I saw that in the news the other day.
Yeah.
So so what's behind all of that?
Well, McNeil, okay, and actually these plans actually started as far back as when I was on the school board. We had talked about for years making McNeil a elementary school because it's a junior high.
Right.
It was a junior high for a long time. And it's a fairly large building. and you've had a lot of influx in the years in that direction. And so it just really made sense. Plus, Jefferson is an older elementary school, and Jefferson's had some water problems. That's the one that is basically down the hill from Ryder. So all the all the rain that falls on Ryder runs to Jefferson.
Oh.
And you could actually see water on the water line where it's flooded out several times.
Okay.
In Jefferson. It's been a long time since I've been there, but when I was on the school board. So basically, they're looking for an alternative, and so McNeil has been closed for a year and undergone major renovations,
right?
Because the bones of the building were pretty good,
right?
And so they underwent major renovations, and now it will be reopened as an elementary school. Okay. And so it'll bring all the students from Jefferson Elementary, and then it'll start some of the students from West Foundation and Fowler Elementary. We'll go there to McNeil as well.
Oh, to relieve the pressure off of the...
Exactly.
Okay, but Fowler's like right down the road.
Yeah.
They're super
But there's
close.
just a lot of people there.
Right.
You think about it, where a concentration of families are, that's a concentration of families. And as a group, tends to be relatively families with that age of kids, elementary kids.
Okay.
So also, the school board heard, in WFISD, heard some promising news about Hershey High School, or Hershey Middle School that was taken over by a third-party company, a turnaround company, and they put out some really good or some promising data on that things have gotten better at Hershey.
Okay,
and I'm throwing this out there, but I believe they said in the semester that they've been there, they've shown like a 1.2 years of progress.
Okay.
And I think that's overall.
Right.
You know, there's some levels or places are higher than others.
Sure.
And I texted Donnie, the superintendent. So I texted him, Donnie Lee, and asked him, hey, are these statistically correct numbers? Or are these just numbers that they're throwing out there? Right. And he said, no, these are lock solid numbers.
Okay.
So, by the way, Donnie will be on with us in about 3 weeks or 4 weeks, I believe. Okay. And he can kind of talk to us a little bit about things.
All right. Cool.
And then I tell you, we can hold this. Let's do Big Jim Russell. Let's hold the other thing over, and let's get Billy Pate in here.
Okay.
But Big Jim Russell celebrates 50 years in radio.
50 years. Wow.
In Wichita Falls, local radio, and he was the voice of KLUR has been the largest radio station for years.
Right.
And Jim Russell was the voice of KLUR for a long time. They called it the king of the country. And so, but he's still on the radio in some capacity, and he's been doing it for 50 years locally, and just want to say congratulations.
All right. Well, cool. Well, Billy,
come on down.
Yeah. Come on down.
Yeah.
So
we do a live transition here.
Yep. Yeah, we're
you got to be careful when you use the word transition these days.
Oh, well.
It means a lot of things.
Yeah.
So,
it means different things to different people, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah, so we're fancy. See, you could do it off screen, and then and now we go flip over. And
boom, there you are.
Right,
You've got your name and everything.
Look at that.
So, but camera's over there.
Yeah,
and,
look straight in the camera right there.
And got your microphone all good to go.
Yes,
so this morning our guest is Billy Pate.
Yes, sir.
And Billy, tell everybody a little bit about what the project that you're working on here.
Okay, April and I, my wife, have started Rising Sons Boys Ranch, which is meant to be an end of care for kids that are currently in the foster care system.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and Rising Sons, S-O-N-S.
S-O-N-S,
So
yes.
that does have a meaning, so explain that a little bit.
Well, we just want to see kids lifted from the place that they're currently in to another level. And so Rising Sons is we want them to become, sons. I think with that connotation, it carries a lot of identity qualities that kids need. They need to belong. And when you're my son, you belong to me. And you have a place that's always your home. You have a place that you can come back to. You have a place that gives meaning to your life. And that's really what that's all about.
Cool. Right.
Yeah.
All right.
And you say it's Boys Ranch, so is it modeled after the Cal Farley's Boys Ranch?
Yeah, I think so. Of course, we're much smaller than
Absolutely,
Cal Farley.
Yeah, talking about model,
and beginning on a very small scale. We're in our infancy for sure. But yes, that is the plan, to create a community for kids that are currently in the foster care system to have a place that is a hub for all the needs, and not just kids, for their families. The foster care community is one that requires a lot of support, and it needs help from a lot of outside sources, even foster families that, have taken on this mission and are taking care of kids and trying to provide for them. Well, they need some outside support. That gets overwhelming at times. That gets to be very heavy for them to carry on their own. And so April and I have a heart to not only provide for kids in care, but for the families that are also providing support.
So how did y'all get started on this journey?
Well, we started in 2019, but the story goes way back further than that.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah, I mean, this has been something that's really been on our hearts together since we've been married. But it even really kind of started back when I was a kid myself. I just noticed that there was a lot of, and it wasn't just even with foster care. I just noticed that there was a lot of young men, even my age at the time, that seemed to be lost and didn't seem to have a direction for their life. And I can remember a time where this really kind of just cemented in my life, where I was working in a cantaloupe field, and I was working alongside this other young man, and he was not well. He had he didn't have a relationship with his father, and he was really at a really low place in his life. And I had never met him before we were working together in this field, but he just started opening up his heart to me and talking about how he didn't have a place, he didn't belong, his dad didn't want anything to do with him. And man, something was just birthed in my heart at that point, that there's a lot of young men that need a father in their life. Mm-hmm. They need somebody to step in and say, you are important, you matter, and you have value, and your life's not wasted, and it's not pointless. And so, man, God just started really working a seed in my heart then, and from that day forward, I just felt like someday I'm going to start a boys ranch, and I'm going to do my best to rescue young men that feel like they don't belong.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, so that as far as like helping, as far as getting jobs and that kind of stuff, how does that? Because I know I've worked with through Texas Workforce. They have I guess they still have a program where foster kids have come out and they're adult. They're aging out.
They've aged out.
Right, and they have a program to help them get into a position.
Yeah, we have actually a program here in Wichita Falls called Phased In.
Right, and
so the whole purpose of that is to help kids transitioning out of the foster care system into real life. A lot of times young men, young women that are coming out of the foster care system are a little bit behind the curve. Mm-hmm. And so for them just to be at 18 years old, given their bag and say, good luck.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's not a good outcome for them. Matter of fact, the 4 likely outcomes for them are homelessness, trafficked, prison, or just death. That is the 4 most likely outcomes. And so Phased In's come in to try to help make that transition more successful. We want to get ahead of them aging out. Right. That's our whole deal. Is I don't want them to ever have to go to Phased In.
Right.
I want them to have a family that is now providing that support system that how many 18-year-olds do you know that could go out, even that are healthy, and just start off on their own? Right. I mean, there's not a lot.
Right. You need the support. It's good. Yeah. Cause that is a family, just family in general is good for that. But yeah, we've had I guess over the years, just maybe more kids that have just ended up in these situations. So, wow.
Well, parents have quit being parents.
Well, that too.
There's an abdication of the role for sure.
That's true. I mean, it's one of those deals, and that's a general statement.
It is.
I know there's some good parents out there.
Lots of good
parents.
And
I used to tell people all the time, my generation was the first generation of crappy parents. Now, I think I was a pretty good parent because I'm first generation off the farm.
Yeah.
So I was raised a certain way.
Right.
And I raised my kids that way.
Yes.
But I see so many people that wanted to be friends with their kids and stuff like that. So nuts and bolts, so say somebody needs your services.
Okay.
How do they find you? And then take us through the journey of a kid who says what's the starting age? What's the earliest age you take?
Well, we have after school program,
okay,
which is where I would probably send people. Now, the best place to find information for everything is our website.
Right, but I mean, just tell people, like, say a 10-year-old comes to you. Say,
Yeah.
So what do you do? What services do you provide specifically for that 10-year-old?
Well, right now, what we primarily would do for them is we would get them involved in our after-school program, they would come out the farm every day after school. They would help us just side by side. We would just walk with them through normal life stuff. So we're taking care of animals.
Okay.
We're
That's
taking
what-
care of the farm. We're building fence. We're solving problems,
Right.
and we're solving problems together. We're teaching them how to put their hands to something, how to activate their mind in something, and then work through a system. And then what ends up happening every time, without fail, is whatever the struggle is, it starts to come to the surface. And then we can one-on-one take a real life situation that's going on and apply that to their situation, and then help them navigate to make better choices, essentially. And so we have seen a lot of young men come out there that are giving problems to their grandparents who they're living with, or giving problems with their single mom that they're living with, or, dad's out of the picture, and come out there, and before long they gain confidence, they gain some competency, they start to develop character, which is a big emphasis for us. There's just things that we don't do out there, and we're not going to allow them to do out there. And really that is tied to their identity. I would say to a young man, hey, we don't do that because that's not who we are, And so we really try to build an identity with them, and it changes their life. If the parents will help them stick with it, or whoever their guardian is will help them stick with it, typically at the beginning, they don't want to come, but if they'll stick with it, their attitude about it will change. First of all, they'll want to be there. I have kids now that in the beginning wouldn't have come had they had a choice. But now they're asking me all the time, can I come? We're not having it today, but can I go ahead and come out there? Stuff like that. So it's really about relationship.
Well, there's so much to be said about work.
Yeah.
Physical labor.
Right. You said you raised your kids from the
That's
farm
right. Yeah.
mentality.
I'm first generation on the farm.
Yeah.
And there's something to be said for physical labor.
Yes.
And we've talked about this before. In fact, we talked about this fairly recently. Terry and I talked about grief. We lost our good friend Mike Hendren, who was part of this for many years. And we talked about grief and that sort of thing. And everybody handles things differently.
Yeah.
And Trey's way to handle it is I go get on my tractor, or I put a chainsaw in my hand.
Right.
And I get out in the heat if it's hot outside. Obviously, it's hard to do today. But when Mike passed, it was hot outside.
Right.
And I worked like hell. And that's the thing.
Yeah.
And I would spend time outside sweating and working, because when you do, two things happen. One, you get that physicality out. But the second thing is, when you're working on projects usually that are hands-on, you're not doing a lot of this long-term planning. You're doing something right now, and you're seeing the fruits of your labor.
Yes.
Like when you mow the yard,
Right.
you could turn around and go, "Damn, that looks good."
Yeah, that's right. It's measurable.
Exactly. Whereas if you're running a business, a lot of times you have to look 6 months,
yes.
12 months, and so you don't really see the fruits of your labor right away. So the nice thing about physical labor is, most of those jobs, if you build a fence, you're going to build the fence. And look, I built some fence
We
today.
did this.
Yes. Yeah. So.
I think it also frees your mind. My mind is busy, but when I'm running chainsaw, I'm just trying to do that.
Well, and
so it frees your mind
you
a little
have
bit.
To, otherwise you hurt yourself.
Yeah.
There's consequences.
Yeah,
There's consequences.
exactly.
Well,
in the
yeah,
world.
right, and it exactly that. It's like even driving down the road. You need to focus in on what you're doing and all of that. Otherwise, there's things that'll want to get you. Things jump out and all that.
Right.
So yeah, it teaches. It's across the board about taking responsibility for something.
Yes,
you
sir.
own it,
Yeah.
and that pride and all of that.
Yeah,
so.
no, and I think one of the big things about the taking care of the farm aspect is it's not about you. It's about all these other things. And so you kind of get out of yourself and your self-focus, because, there's animals depending on you. They require your involvement. And so I think that in of itself helps kids that are just so self-focused. They're only concerned about their needs. They're only concerned about their wants. Now you don't have that privilege. You have to think about something else.
Right. Yeah. Getting outside yourself. Absolutely. That's
a big deal.
Yeah. Because I mean, it's like us as employers. I mean, we've got not just us that we have to consider when we're in our business decisions. We've got to consider our employees. You know how that affects them
and everybody that relies on them.
Yeah,
that's how I always look at it. It's not just the employee itself. It's how many people do they support?
Right. Yeah. How many of your employees are essential? You remember back in maybe in COVID, as essential businesses. Well, no, every business is essential, and they're essential employees.
Yeah, that's right.
Very essential.
So on the farm itself, first off, where is the farm?
We are on 369, just right outside of Burke.
Okay.
Burke Burnett.
Okay.
So what all do you do on the farm?
Well, we have a number of different animals. We have donkeys, we have goats, we have chickens, we have pigs. All of that stuff supports foster families.
Okay.
In a number of ways. We raise animals for meat, and then we turn around and give that to foster families. So the kids help do that, and then we turn around, process that, and then supply food to families just to help them support, their needs without it being a big expense on them. So we do that with the pigs, we do that with the cattle, we do that with the eggs. We have bees out there that we've just started cultivating. That actually helps the entire farm in a really cool way.
Oh, yeah.
We have seen the bees transform the farm just by the pollination aspect. We have orchard that we're developing. We have a garden that we maintain. And so it's kind of like almost like a self-sufficient little community that we then take our goods and provide support with.
How's the honey taste?
It's good. Yeah, we processed our first batch this year, and it was fantastic. We sold out. We did sell some. We sold out in an hour, 70 jars.
Wow. And how long did that take for that to develop, to get that much honey?
Well, it took us a full year of cultivating the hives before we were able to process one.
Wow.
The first year, you kind of leave them alone, and let them, develop, build.
I've got a friend who's a honey guy who has bees and stuff, and
well, I'm no expert by any means. I'm learning as I go, but I've learned a lot from just and I think again, you want to talk about development. I mean, I knew nothing about bees, but now I've got little boys that are learning about that, and we're doing it together. We're putting our hands on things together. Our two boys that we have currently in our home, they're 8 and 9. They're right there with me processing.
And in life, if you really think about it, just look back on everything that we do and the things that we remember that are sticking out in our mind. It's all about experience. It's life is an experience, and that's what I try to emphasize with our customers, or with our guys, and then dealing with customers is you want them to have a positive experience. Because there's enough negativity going on out in the world, and there's right, and so by going out of your way to look for a good way to help people and how you can help them and all that, and that's what this is what you've done personally, but then you're providing a positive experience that they can go back and have to talk to about, and thinking positive, because every time you relive that in your mind, and that's because people, and especially some people maybe even more obsessive on things. That's just sort of their personality. But if they've got a positive thing to emphasize over and over and over, that they can relive it positively.
So many life lessons are available there if you just kind of mine them out.
Right.
Well, and not just, but also learning. I can remember taking kids to the zoo. Like my kids had traveled all over the world and stuff like that. But I was chaperone when my kids were in school. I'd be a chaperone. We'd go to the zoo. And there were kids who had never been outside of Wichita Falls. Yeah. That were absolutely fascinated, and they learned about the science. There's a lot of things that these kids are learning that are very practical experience, things that they don't have to be a farmer. Right. They don't have to go work on a ranch. But they'll learn science. They learn a little bit about mathematics. They learn a little bit about everything, communication and all that.
Absolutely.
So there's a lot to learn on a farm.
Yeah, real world experiences happen on a farm. Yeah. For sure.
Well, that's cool. So,
so if somebody is interested in, first off, if somebody's interested in supporting your organization, how do they do that?
The best way is to go to our website,
which I think Terry has got us pulled up over here.
Rising Suns Boys Ranch up there at the tab. You'll find everything that you need to connect with us. If you want to learn more about fostering, you can do that through the website as well. We are looking for foster families to connect with. We need.
Now, you talk about if somebody is interested in fostering children, so y'all help facilitate that.
We help
as well?
facilitate. Yeah, we are not a licensing agency, but we got 3 great licensing agencies in our county, and we can connect you to those. We know people in every one of those.
So,
and we will help you through the process. So we will walk with you through the process.
You and your wife foster.
We do.
So y'all.
Yeah,
you could give real
been
world,
through it.
You could give real world experience.
Real world, real time experience. Yes.
And it's important if you are interested in fostering, which bless anybody who's interested in that. That takes a special person, in my opinion, and bless them for doing it. But if you can talk to somebody that doesn't have a financial reason to do it, people who have fostered themselves.
Yes.
I know, and I'm not knocking these agencies, but the agencies, somebody works there, somebody gets paid to work there. But if you get people who are not paid to tell you the real, then that could be a lot of really good information on fostering. So you can support the information on fostering.
Yes, 100%. We will help you get certified. We will answer the questions you have that may not get answered otherwise, right? The real
You'll actually
down and dirty.
You'll help them answer questions that they didn't know to ask.
Right, absolutely.
That's the biggest thing is you don't know what you don't know until you don't know.
Absolutely, and there was so much. I mean, we knew a lot going into this because this is what we were going to give our lives to, but there were still a lot of things that we had to discover on our own. And so if we could help someone know those things on the front side, get a good footing moving forward, then that's what we want to do.
Yeah. Okay. Well, just curious, do you know Jeff Turnbow and Shannon Turnbow from Nakal's?
Oh, I know of. My wife does.
Okay.
I don't.
Okay.
Personally.
Yeah. Well, I was just saying they've fostered a number of kids through the years as well. But I just wondered what the connection is. I imagine that there's a little bit of a community of foster parents.
Sure. And there's a lot of little sub communities within that community.
Okay.
Lots of groups that get together and support each other. And so we are trying to facilitate that environment as well. Nobody should stand alone. Nobody should walk alone. You're going to need somebody.
Sure.
So you go to the website and there's a giving tab. Let's go back to the website here.
So
but it also talks about what y'all do. It gives you this is a great informative website here. I really like it. It looks good too.
Thank you.
And so then you have classes or
this is our after school program page.
Okay.
And so our goals there are life skills, life lessons, and life experiences. And so we just finished up our fall program, 2025, and we'll be launching again in our spring.
What's this, Elite Fishing?
Yeah, that is a big fundraiser that we have coming up, April 17th through the 19th. That is for people that are interested in partnering with us. Mm-hmm. We provide a weekend at Lake Tawakoni. All expenses are paid, and so we invite you to come. We do a guided fishing trip, which is the best.
That's a good lake too.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Fishing, yeah.
And so we give you a premier cabin. It's a beautiful place right on the lake, and so that's a great fundraiser that just gets people to learn the opportunity to learn more about what we are and what we do, and really who we are.
Okay, so is there any charge for the after school program?
There is not. It's all underwritten by donors. And so all of the kids are able to come free of charge.
And from a practical standpoint, how does that work? Are they come just from Burke Burnett? Do they come from other places?
We will take kids from anywhere. It doesn't matter. They just have to get. They may have to get there. We pick up in Burke.
Okay.
I pick up from the high school. I pick up from the middle school.
Okay.
It's 6th grade to 12th grade is what we focus on, and so. But any kids can. I've had kids from City View. I've had some kids from Wichita Falls, but their grandparents or their parents, they would bring them, and they don't have to bring them every day.
So this is showing, of course, this. So as far as the current session,
it will start in March.
In March, okay,
Yeah.
Okay. So it's
run March through when?
Through the end of school.
End of school.
Yeah.
And are you gonna have a summer?
We do. We do our summer a little bit different. We have special days in the summer, and we just let people know when we're going to have work days at the farm. Usually those are on Saturday.
Okay.
During the summer.
Okay.
So if somebody wants to connect with you, the website's the best place to connect.
Absolutely, and there on that Connect with Us page is where you can ask us any question. If you're interested in fostering, it's probably going to take you to that page as well. But it tells all about us. It tells all about what we're doing. All of that is there on that About Us section.
Wow. I think it's great. I was fortunate enough to have two great parents.
Yes.
But I know that a lot of kids didn't. And I was also fortunate enough I had horses and I cowboyed and I did stuff. I lived in Wichita Falls, but for somebody to live in town, I had a place out of town.
Right.
And I was out of town. I did more stuff in the country than any city kid you ever met in your life. And I was in the country about half the time. So I understand the value of all that. And I think it's great that you and your wife have dedicated yourselves to doing this, because you ain't getting rich doing this, I'm sure.
No, there's we're not in it for the money, that's for sure.
Yeah, so
we have 55 acres out there that we've dedicated to this process and for this mission.
So is this what you do full time, or is
No, I actually am a pastor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my wife and I pastor the River Assembly of God in Burt Burnett. We've been pastors there for 16 years. But this is something that's always been on our heart. We've just kind of waited till our kids were old enough that we could start bringing in kids into our home. I have 3 kids, 27, 22, and 18. And now we have an 8 and 9-year-old. So kind of a reset. We would almost be empty nesters. My son graduates this year, my youngest. But now we've reloaded. And so we're about to reload again, I think. We're going to add a couple more boys in our home. My daughter's about to get married. So when she leaves the home, then we'll have another room.
Yeah.
And so we're going to fill that room up again.
And is it all boys?
We are only doing boys.
At this time.
And and there's some, reasons for that.
Well, there's a lot of reasons.
Well, yeah.
You're bringing in kids that have trauma. You don't know what their background is. We want to make sure that everybody stays safe.
That's true. And quite frankly, there's more of a lack of fathers in households than there are mothers.
That's true.
And by the way, guys, that's your fault. Well, I'm serious.
Well,
quite frankly, it is.
Our nation has a fatherlessness problem.
Absolutely. And the government has been. I've got a whole thing.
No, I'm with you.
The government has. The black community, especially, the government has decimated.
They've subsidized
the traditional
That's
black
right.
community by telling fathers you can't be there.
Yeah,
it's not good from a financial standpoint. It's not good for you to be there.
Right.
It's a scam of epic proportions, and it's not just black. I'm just saying, but that is one of the communities that I believe was targeted.
It's been hard hit.
Yeah, and but you can't. The fact is, not every household's going to have 2 parents in it. That's just reality. But having those male influences in your children's lives is vital.
Well, and now on that side also, we have girls who don't have fathers either, and they have a different. There's a different relationship with your father, a father-daughter, and a father-son, and that. But they're both vital, but like I said, it's not saying one's more important than the other, by the way. And that's just y'all have a mission, and y'all just chosen to fix that
and
part.
We hope that at some point we can do more. We can build a girls' home. And
but you have to
do
keep
the same thing. But we got to start somewhere.
Yeah, and you have to keep them separate. It's the same reason why there's a faith refuge for women and a faith refuge 100%. For men. Everybody's got to be safe.
Yes.
So we get that.
All right. Well,
Billy, so much. We really appreciate you coming in.
Oh, man, it's my pleasure.
And talking about this and getting the word out. Appreciate what you do.
Thank you.
For the Texoma community. And so once again, what's the name of the website?
RisingSonsBoysRanch.com.
Yep. That's it. SONS.
Yeah, SONS, yes. And anything else that you want to add?
No, just April and I appreciate the opportunity to share. And if we can ever do anything for anybody that's interested in this pathway, reach out to us. We're available. Our information is on the website. We're easy to get a hold of. You can
do you have a Facebook page?
Email me, and I'll respond.
Okay. Do you have a Facebook page as well?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, if you can share this on your Facebook page,
we will.
So,
100%.
All right. Cool.
Terry's always selling it.
That's it, man.
You gotta get it. There's nothing wrong with that.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you.
All right. Well, I guess we'll
wrap it up here?
Yeah, I guess we'll wrap it up. We'll go ahead and go from there. So, everybody, just thank you for.
Or do you want to do the last? Do you want to do the last story?
We got a little time. We got a little time.
Okay. Texas election officials have turned over the state's voter registration data to the U.S. Department of Justice. So
some people are not happy about that.
The Department of Justice asked all 50 states to do this, And some of them complied, some of them didn't. And the whole point behind it was according to the Department of Justice, the reason they're doing this is they want to scrub those. They want to scrub election voting rolls to make sure that they're clean.
Registered in 2 states.
Right. Registered in 2 states or not dead.
Right.
You know, which is a very popular thing, has been a popular thing in Louisiana for many years.
Yeah.
There's been a whole lot of dead
Them
people.
Cajuns, man, I tell you. They're, you know.
Yeah, there's been a whole lot of dead people in Louisiana that have voted many, many times.
Yeah.
But I have no problem with this.
Well,
I mean, if you think people talk about the government having their information, well, dumbass, if you file an IRS, you know, if you have a job or anything like that, they already have your information.
Well, it's like this guy tried to he was gonna write a check to me one time, and I said, well, where's the bank? And he goes, oh, it's local and whatever bank. And I said, oh, okay. Well, can you tell me what the bank is? No, that's private. Well, if you write a check, I'm going to know who it is.
Well, not only that, you're asking me to trust you.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
So-
I mean, that's the thing. When you write a check to somebody and they ask you for your driver's license number, they're well within their rights. Otherwise, they could say no.
So I guess the major concern here is that they feel like the people who are against this is that they're saying, look, you're going to target us, and you now know that I'm gonna, you know, because in some states you kind of you vote in the primaries, right? You
do in Texas, yeah.
Well, yeah, but you can't. You have to now in Texas. You can change.
Once you vote, I believe when you vote in a primary, you have to stay
once
with,
right, but you don't have to.
You can change after the next election cycle, but I don't think you can vote in the Republican primary and then vote in the Democrat. You can't vote in the same primary.
Right, you can't say I'm going to vote for these people over here on the Republican and then go. You
can't vote.
Right.
You have to vote.
But anyway, there is some there's some indication maybe which way you know what party you might be more aligned with. But bottom line is that the actual vote is private. It's
of course
right. It's so. I mean, again, I can understand if there are people who have legitimate concerns about privacy. That's more about the government process, and I understand it because the government doesn't always do the right thing, and they do, you know. So I get it, but it's just bumping up. It's primarily about bumping rolls against each other so that
to make sure there's voter integrity. That's the biggest thing. And look, I'm all for this because I've said for years, anything above state level, we need to have some national. It needs to be nationally standardized.
Right.
Above state level.
Right.
So in other words, if Washington State was to say that if you want to be in the House of Representatives of Washington State, that you have to be a left-handed redhead, and they all agree to that, I don't give a shit. I don't have to go to Washington State.
Right.
Or cities and stuff like that. I don't care what you do in your city as long as your city approves it, or what you do in your county, or what you do in your state. The problem is you can't say that we're going to elect our officials to the U.S. Congress and they all have to be left-handed redheads. That's not fair.
Right.
You know, because now your person votes. Yes, I don't vote for them, but their vote does affect me.
Right.
And that's why I think we need standardized election laws to where you have to live in the district. You know, there are people who, like in Texas, if you want to go to the U.S. House of Representatives, you have to live in that district. Mm-hmm. In some states, you don't have to live in the district.
Oh, really?
No.
Oh, okay.
No,
Did not
and
know
that's what I'm getting at. It affects. That's why we need standardization. Once it goes to a federal level, you're affecting everybody in the country. Your votes, your policies affect everybody in the country.
Right. But it is laid out in the Constitution, as I understand it, that the states handle the election process.
Well, used to be in the Constitution you had slavery too, and we took care of that.
Well, no.
So I'm just saying. I'm simply saying.
Right.
I'm simply saying you can. There's things called amendments.
Well, no, but I don't think it was. It wasn't that it was. Slavery wasn't in there.
I know. My point is, but there was an amendment to abolish it. Yes. Am I correct?
Right. Well, yeah. But,
Thank you.
You know.
So no. My point is My point is, if something is not right,
Yeah.
the you got to understand, even though the Constitution, and I think the Constitution still holds a lot of water, but over the years we've had to change because the world has changed.
Sure.
It's
and that's why
it's the same reason as term limits. They didn't set term limits because who in the hell would have been stupid enough to go to Washington, D.C. and make a living out of that?
Right.
You had to go back to your farm or
Right,
your
yeah,
business.
yeah.
You had to feed your family because you couldn't make a living doing that.
Right.
But then Congress became a profession.
Yep.
The founders never saw that. They never expected Congress to become a profession.
Right. Well, and that's kind of what I like a little bit about Texas is that we meet every 2 years. I don't know about that. I think maybe we should meet more often, but but that's what it is.
I think every 2 years.
And 2 years, and then it's basically you're getting what? I don't know, a small amount of money.
Like $6,000 a month or a year.
Yeah.
It's a somewhat of a volunteer job.
Right.
There are some benefits. They do get a retirement when
Right.
they vest in, which is
Right.
okay. There's some benefits to it,
Right.
but it's not. You can't make a living. You can't say I'm going to leave my job as a CPA
Right.
and go make a living as because you can't do it.
Because a lot of these guys are attorneys. A lot of them are they're accountants or insurance salesmen.
They either have to be independently. Generally, you have to be independently wealthy.
Yep.
Or you have to own a business that you have somebody else that can help you run the
Right.
business because you are going to be busy.
Be gone for a few weeks.
Or if you're an
Several
attorney or
times.
an insurance agent or something like that,
Right.
you have a partner or you're
Right.
part of a partnership where they can help you.
Right.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, yeah, because you're definitely not going to get back what the time you spent doing.
No.
So.
It's not a living. It's
Right.
not making a living. It's not volunteer work, but it is pseudo volunteer work.
All right. So as far as this goes, yeah. So I mean, the concept of it, if somebody abuses this data that we're sending to Washington to the Department of Justice, then they need to go down.
I totally agree,
right?
but how are you going to abuse it?
Oh,
That's what
no,
I
I know.
understand.
No, I know. I guess there's I think that's a made up concern, really.
That's what I'm
ultimately.
getting at.
Yeah, but-
I don't see how. I go back to tell me the nuts and bolts. How would you abuse it?
Right.
Tell me how it would happen.
Well-
And then maybe you can.
Well, anything can be abused, but it's just that it's not likely. I mean, it's just bumping up data, but I also understand the incrementalism of it, that it's another list that the federal government doesn't need to be involved in, possibly. I mean, that'd be the theory, because it's like, there's a lot of legal things that you can do, and I don't have a real good example off the top of my head on that, but that doesn't make it right to do. And it gets you one step further, especially with the today with it's like okay, surveillance. Here's a good and this may be another topic we talk about later, but Austin and several communities and things are getting these cameras, these AI cameras,
Mm-hmm.
and they're putting them in all these public places, and it's a surveillance almost. It's really surveillance. Even though technically they may be legal, it's what you do with it, the collection of that data. And that's an example of what I'm saying is that incrementalism. Do we even want to go that far, for things? And so this
Maybe
may
but
be.
when it comes to elections, I think
Right.
so.
No, I know.
There are
I
some.
think
I agree. I agree with you. I'm for less government in general.
Right.
But there are a few things we need.
Right.
We need government involved.
Right.
We need them involved in military.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's mandated.
We need them. But we need them involved in military.
right.
I mean, unless you just want to go stand out front of your house every night with a gun,
No,
you're not gonna-
absolutely.
okay.
Well, we need
So-
police. We need
That's what I'm
military.
saying,
We need.
yeah.
We got
So
things that the government has a function.
We need infrastructure. Government needs to help with the infrastructure, but that also elections.
Yeah.
And making sure that elections are transparent and fair.
Right. And on top of that, though, with elections, I think that for election fraud, that ought to carry a very, very heavy penalty when
totally
you
agree
do
with
it. And it may outdo drugs, and it may outdo other things, but it's such an important aspect of our government that if you don't have election integrity, then you need to you have a bad, your system can be corrupt.
I totally agree with you.
Right. So
You're absolutely right.
when if you get caught, man, go down.
I totally agree.
So, all right. Well, I guess that's enough to wrap it up.
We can
here
wrap it
today.
up right there. Yeah.
So, all right, almost right on time. So, I tell you what, join us here every Friday. I mean, but so far we've been doing pretty good. Haven't had to delay, even when he was out for his arm. We made it happen, and so we've been doing it pretty good here. So let me get this going. Where's my scroll?
Well, we know how to end this.
Yeah.
You
So
know how to
anyway,
end this.
so as Mike would always say, that we will see you down the road.